Aloha, everybody, and welcome to the Joy Schtick Show, a podcast where three friends from high school in Hawaii get together to chat about video games, comic news, and pop culture. Today's episode, we have a really short one for you. We are covering Knock at the Cabin in the Woods, Vox Machina, episodes 7 through 9, and the latest My Hero Academia. And if you've been enjoying the content week to week, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and please share this with one new person this week. All right, everybody, enjoy. So, all right, you guys ready to move on to Knock at the Cabin?
Knock, knock.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. So another M. Night Shyamalan film. You know, there's M. Night Shyamalan touches all throughout this movie. There is just the cinematics, the way things are shot, some of this kind of creepy and eerie feeling to it, and the way that lines are delivered is very M. Night to me. There was a lot of drama built around it, and a lot of mystery as to, is this really what's happening? Is it not what is happening? And it was great in a lot of ways, and yet I feel like for me, at the end, full spoilers here. Yeah, so if you don't want to know anything about this, like, just skip ahead 20 minutes. We'll put a timestamp in the notes, but I wanted there to be a twist at the end, and then I felt like there was no twist, and then I was disappointed. So, but last thing I'll just say quickly was, like, Dave Bautista was fucking amazing. Hands down, has jumped up to, if not number one, number two best wrestling turned actors for me. So fucking good.
Yeah. You just got The Rock and John Cena in the top three with Bautista?
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like those are the only people.
The Rock is now, like, for sure moved to 3, and it's nothing because of the movies he's done or his talent. I mean, it just, Dave has range. He can be soft, and he can be sweet. He can be funny. He can be scary when he needs to be. He can be intense. Like, as scary and intimidating as he was in this movie, he was he was his character all the way through. He's like, I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to scare you. We have a job to do. That's why I'm here. And he brought that through the whole time. Like, I don't want to have to do this, but I'm the only one that can do this. I have to stick to this job. And that was so incredible. He did just a fantastic job for me. One of the highlights in the whole movie for me.
Yeah, he really did do a good job of, like, being a person who is capable of doing a lot of damage, but, like, sensing, like, he really didn't want to do it. And you can see the kindness in him. Like, I believed he was a second grade teacher.
Definitely.
These are my kids, and, like, and even though, like, him and his little scenes he had with Gwen were, like, really good. I'm hoping to see him, and I'm sure we will, but I'm hoping to see him, like, take on more roles like that, where he's, like, taking on personas. He's like, it's like when you saw Arnold Schwarzenegger just doing random roles like that, where he's like, he's just some American dad with a super strong accent, like like the only one around like
I'm from America.
I did not murder him, like all stuff like that. But he's, like, way more believable, like, I believe he's just a second grade teacher that's just likes to be jacked and loves teaching kids, He was definitely a highlight of this film, and all the other cast was really great too. Like, that's the thing, like, this film did a really good job of staying eerie, and it's an hour 30 minutes, so it moves quick. So by the time it's revealed to you, it's like towards the end of the movie, right, when things are for sure. But it is eerie, and you're trying to figure out. And I think the twist almost is, like, because the whole movie you're like, okay, are they for real or they're not? Like, because one of the characters, who's one of the husbands, one of the daddies, keeps justifying it. We're like, hey, this could have been pre-recorded. They could be playing it from somewhere else. And he's like giving you all these, like, and you're like, yeah, that could be the case.
And all these solid logical arguments.
Yeah, solid logical arguments. So the whole time you're questioning, like, okay, are they the Four Horsemen, or are they just, like, crazy people who are part of a cult? And then in the end you find out, oh, they are the Four Horsemen. So I guess the twist was they were real. The thing I was thinking about this, though, like, maybe the reason I didn't feel as great about the twist, I think like you were saying, was because I kind of felt it was real anyway. Like I don't know if we get so many of these like movies now that are kind of sci-fi, or like, you know, we get like so many Marvel movies where like these make-believe people are the real deal in these movies. I was like, yeah, these guys are the Four Horsemen. Like, dude, listen to what they're saying. I think you're gonna have to kill one of your people. There were moments though in the movie where I was putting myself in the position of like one of the daddies, and was like,
yeah, you were.
If yeah, first off, good looking couple, good looking couple. No,
it's hot.
yeah, but I was like asking myself, like, okay, if I like, there's a moment where one of them have a gun and like they have an opportunity to like kill these people who are like Four Horsemen. I was like, you know, honestly, I would have thought they were crazy people, and I would have just shot them. Like, if I were in the movie, I would have thought they were crazy. Me as a viewer, I really felt like they were the Four Horsemen, like throughout the whole. So it was like this thing that I was battling in my head. So yeah, I don't know if you felt that as well.
Yeah, but... you know what ruined it for me, where you're right on the whole believability thing, was when I was talking about it lately, I was like, yeah, there was a new trailer for it. And the new trailer showed this massive tidal wave. And then in the movie, it turns out, yeah, there's that massive tidal wave that's off the coast of Portland. Like, that, it ruined, like, the trailer ruined it for me.
They shouldn't have showed that.
Because then it would have been what are they? Are they actually real, or are they just psychotic people that are torturing this family? Mm-hmm. And that, you're right. Like, I went into it knowing, like, there's something that's getting fucked up here. Whether it's because of this family or not, something is happening, and these people know it. And because they know it, then it becomes more believable. And that way, when you find out, oh, they actually were the Four Horsemen, it's not that big a surprise. You're like, yeah, no shit, that's what you've been telling me the whole movie. But, you know, that's, I guess, yeah, they kind of screwed themselves, at least for me, in the trailer, because it ruined the twist of it all. Yeah. Yeah, go for it. Do you have something?
No, maybe if they did the marketing a little bit more like Blair Witch Project, potentially.
Sure.
Because the movie M. Night Shyamalan did as an adaptation of a book by Paul G. Tremblay called The Cabin at the End of the World. Yeah. So there's differentiations between the actual book and the movie, which I think the book kind of goes a little bit darker in that sense. But for all intents and purposes, it was a very, to a degree, linear movie where along the way you're having to choose between, like, do I believe it or do I not believe it? And then some of the things that I think we're going to get into is like the ideology of what, because M. Night Shyamalan doesn't do things that aren't M. Night Shyamalan, and to take an adaptation like this and to change it the way he did, what is the, I guess, the critique on, I guess, the world that we see today? So is it the critical thinker, which was one dad, and the other dad was more of a religious individual? They said that on multiple occasions. You can pray if you want to, I won't judge.
Yeah, he was like a believer. He was a man.
He was a believer.
He had some type of faith.
Yes. And so you had that kind of juxtaposition as it pertains to that, plus like the, I guess the love that they have and the family that they have, et cetera, et cetera. And then the belief or the unbelief in media, right? Like, this was staged or fake, or you know, why would these four people be doing this? They must be crazy. So there's also the idea of not necessarily believing in, you know, society and people, in the truth, even when it's too crazy to even believe. So there's a lot of thought-provoking ideas that are being presented to us in this situation. Were there other things in the movie that gave you a lot of thought and question as to not only just M. Night Shyamalan's choices, but in the grander scheme?
Definitely. I think, and I just want to give them a shout out because I'm a huge fan of Jonathan Groff. He plays the more believer, if you will, dad, Eric. And then there's Ben Aldridge, which I just watched another movie with him. I saw a movie with him on Saturday night called, spoiler alert, where he is in a relationship with the guy who plays Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. And so it was crazy. It was back-to-back movies where he plays, like, you know, the husband. So it was like really interesting. That guy's name is Ben Aldridge. And Ben, you know, he was the attorney in this. He's the one that had the gun and gets stabbed. I think my thing for this movie, I was constantly thinking, what is the lesson here? Like, what are they trying to teach us? Were they saying? I think they were saying that the world has done so many bad things that we needed to be judged. And then I was also wondering, like, okay, you're putting this same-sex couple in front of everybody, and they have this beautiful relationship, and they do this amazing thing, adopting this daughter. But then, you're telling us, the viewers, that one of them has to kill the other one to save the world. And something about that didn't really sit right with me. So I don't. Again, these actors did a fantastic job, and and you see all the trials and tribulations they have to go through in their lives because of their sexual orientation, which completely sucks and is stupid. But I didn't understand the lesson either. Where I'm like, why this couple? Why did they have to like sacrifice either them or their daughter? And I know Dave Bautista has that line, or Leonard, where he says, because your love is so pure, that's why you're chosen. But I'm like, I don't know. It just like something about them having to kill one or the other, like just didn't sit right with me. Yeah. And I don't know if it was like, same, whatever, I don't know what you call it, like a cisgendered couple or like, a traditional couple. I don't know if that would have made it any different, but yeah, it was just like, why are these people doing this to them? It just was uncomfortable. I think the whole time I just wanted the family to be able to get out of it. And yeah, and I think at the end, like I found myself being more empathetic towards Andrew, I want to say, which was Jonathan Groff's character, and less so for Eric. And Eric was the logical person.
Oh, Eric was Jonathan Groff.
Oh, Eric was Jonathan, and the other one was Andrew, right? Yeah. Andrew, sorry, Andrew. Yeah. Thank you. Andrew was the one who was
trauma.
Yeah, and he went through some trauma, but he was also like being the more reasonable one. He's, I don't know, for the media thing, I liked when he was like, how do we know that they didn't record it earlier? Because I think when you start looking at the news, like anytime you see, a tsunami or something like that, pretty hard to fake that. So I don't know if it was a thing of like, I don't believe the media, but it was more of, are they manipulating the media to their own will to then trick us, is how I kind of took it.
Like a supernatural type situation, potentially?
No, but just like, manipulating because like they recorded it earlier and now they're playing it now and acting like it was now, like that kind of stuff. So not from like a supernatural standpoint. And I was just kind of always wondering, is there a supernatural element? I guess at the end you do get that answer. But, it was so heavily preached that it wasn't that big of a surprise. And then when Eric is not the one that survives, there was a little piece of me that was like, oh, but at least it wasn't when. You're like, okay, good. It's not the little girl because that'd be fucked up. But
yeah.
It would be, I think it would have been the more quote unquote dark artistic choice to kill off Wen. I believe the book has a similar type of situation, but like, I agree with you as it pertains to Andrew and Eric. Like Andrew's trauma, but he was already noted to be somebody who's aggressive and has anger issues, right? So for him to be so questioning, fantastic. But for me to care about him as a character, his lack of empathy for the whole situation, and obviously when I can get out of there, I can, as he is a parent, I can assume that he just wants his whole family to be safe. Right. At the same point in time, it's very hard to root for him when he was antagonizing a lot of the situation, in terms of, what you would want to do in order to escape if you didn't believe in what was going on. But I think, taking the word, if you believe the word of the four individuals that came through and, having an honest conversation, I don't think that the correct questions were asked versus the more appropriate assumptions were assumed.
Like what?
So like assuming that it could have been pre-recorded, assuming that they had some sort of connection because there was a sort of connection with Redmond previously, right? So that allows you to think, oh, maybe this is less of a coincidence. And Andrew is more of a coincidence type person. Eric, in that sense, is more of like the spiritual, believer, hope individual. And when they're talking a little bit more about, why are you here? Why are you doing this? The questions that were asked by Eric and by Eric more so than Andrew were more getting to the actual truth, whereas Andrew's questions, I believe, were more about questioning the integrity of the individual versus understanding the situation completely.
Right, and Andrew would be shutting down Eric, right? Like, stop talking to them. Anytime he asks questions that we as a viewer are like, want to know. Like that was one thing that two things. Going to the showing them the video, pre-recorded, whatever. This movie made me think that could be done then. Like someone could pre-record something and make it look legit. Like with special effects, they made that look like a real tsunami came. Why couldn't anyone do that and put it on a TV and be like, "This is what's happening in the world," right? Like, if they can do it with modern technology, they could do it. And then the other thing is, I feel like the story. I mean, I can't control the story, and this is also based off a story that was already written. But I feel like a more interesting story would have been like giving them more time to make them believe that they are the Four Horsemen, and their decision is going to, affect the world. And then when they fully know that, for whatever reason, one of you have to kill each other, can't commit suicide. Now that you know that this affects it, then it would have been more interesting to see one of the people like, "Hey, I know the world's gonna end, but I also can't kill you." And then the other guy being like, "We have to do it." Like them, because the whole movie, it felt unfair to the people being asked this question. I'm like, so the fate of the world is really being put on this situation where it's not even fully believable. Like, what chance is the world even given if it's just given to this random couple who doesn't fully buy into the idea and like luckily believe it in the end? Like, this is what a crazy concept to come to anyone and be like, "We're the Four Horsemen. This decision."
Well, the thing is like, we didn't know they were the Four Horsemen. Like, I don't even know if they knew they were the Four Horsemen, right?
And that's the other thing too.
Only like Eric knew that they were the Four Horsemen because he like had his vision or maybe his faith or whatever from his background, right? So like he didn't even know. Like we were only told that in the last seconds before they decided to kill each other. But I do agree with what you're saying. Like, I don't know. Yeah, having more time for them to fight with that decision a little bit more and making it a tough decision, even though it's like you only have minutes, so it makes things move faster and wrap things up faster. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that would have made it a little bit more tension, or them like not being able to do it and then seeing the world actually like fall into this chaos. Like, what would that? I guess I'm still walking away from it like not knowing what the lesson is.
Yeah, I kind of wish too the four people who came had better ways to show that what was going to happen would happen, other than like, we know you're going to say no at least 3 times, so like a lot of people are going to die and we're going to die. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way to be like, "Believe me, fire." They could like make magic or some shit. Like, they had nothing to prove, so it's like, and I guess that's part of it, but I don't know. I was like, no one's like, I guess they all got there going like, the world's probably going to end. We have a 1% chance of this working, maybe.
Right, and then that's why the Four Horsemen, if you will, do what they do. Right, they have no other option than to try to go and throw this Hail Mary and see what their vision, see their vision through, and hopefully they can save their kids, their families, and yada yada. But it, I don't know. It just didn't sit right. I've thought about it a million different ways. I feel like how to change up the ending so it feels more satisfying, but I don't really know what that satisfying ending is. And I don't think it was. I don't know if it was the dialogue. I really had no issue with the dialogue. I had no issue with the acting. I thought it was all impeccable. I thought it was all fantastic. I think it really, for me, comes down to the story. Like, I just don't think I care for how this story concludes. Because, like, now what? Eric or Andrew and Wen drive off in the sunset, and they have to go act like their lives are normal after they saw like 3 people kill each other in front of them, and all of a sudden the world was in chaos for 24 hours and now it's not.
Also like, who set, so like we're assuming God set this thing up, right? Or some higher being,
right?
This higher being only cared about these 3 people's decision, or like, did the rest of the world learn anything? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, to them, they're just like, "Oh, some crazy shit happened. A lot of people died. Glad it wasn't me." Woo.
Exactly.
No one else knows what happened except for these 2 people. So it's in that regard, like, what is the lesson other than these 2 people because of this, we get another movie or another story where they do something because of this event, they do something greater, or like
yeah. Well, I was in my head. This shows you how what I think of myself. Maybe was I was going between okay, I'm the family in this situation, and then I'm also the people on the beach. Like, you know what I mean? So what do I learn from being swept away from the tsunami? What do I learn from being one of the people in the plane? Or what do I even learn from being one of the people in the diner at the end of the movie? Like, they don't learn jack shit from it. They don't change their ways completely. They don't say, maybe a few people do, but if the pandemic has showed us anything, the real world pandemic, is that it doesn't change that much in how people operate. So you can, it could take out millions of people, whatever. Maybe this disease, like in the movie X9, takes out, thousands, hundreds of thousands of kids in one day. Do all those people, do we still get anti-vaxxers or anti-maskers or all this other stuff out of it? I mean, not trying to get political, but I'm just saying, it's like, does it change? Do we all of a sudden now stop being who we are because all this shit happened around us? I don't think it does. I think it only changes for the people who were involved in the situation, which was Wen and Andrew.
I could make the argument. I mean, definitely. I think I could make the argument that the happening of what it is the, I guess, the randomness of existence as a whole. Like, these three random people have to decide the fate of humanity, and it is the humanity in them that essentially will decide the fate of the rest. And if everybody was on the same page, we would be more certain that was going to be the case. But everybody is so different and individualized to an extent that might not be the case. So them coming to their senses was, like you said, the coming of age for them. But for the rest of the people, they're not really getting that, and they'll probably never even know. And just, I guess, the luckiness of life and the beauty of life is that it can end in an instant, regardless of whether or not you're in control of it. Potentially, I don't know.
And I guess I keep forgetting, like, they're supposed to be the purest relationship, like, out of the whole world. Yes, I don't know. I would have loved to see a Sandman scenario where Sandman's talking to the god that's putting all this on and, like, explaining why they did it or something, and then like getting a real answer for that. Also, another funny thing, this is like really small potatoes, was when the nurse said, I had to spend my life savings to get here. I'm like, you're a nurse. Like, you make pretty good money. Like,
your life savings to get to Pennsylvania?
Like you should have gave you another job. Like, I get it. Like, depending on how you're living, you can be living paycheck to paycheck. But like, buying just a ticket to somewhere. I'm sure.
Like, I had to sell my Mercedes and I had to sell my 10-bedroom house. Okay, to buy a first class ticket.
I had to put my kid in public school for this shit.
Yeah,
this big ass weapon.
You think this yellow shirt is Ross? Bitch, this is Dolce & Gabbana. Okay, baby.
Yeah, dude, D&G all day,
this
man.
Is a Gucci chain on this thing, and like
their weapons were cool though. That they made them too. That was pretty cool.
That was cool. Yeah, very brutal. And they were like, "Oh, they're tools." I liked that part. I mean, the Dave Bautista of it all was great. I mean, I liked Rupert Grint as well. Ron Weasley, he was pretty good. I don't know, I felt a little bit weird about the restaurant lady.
Chick,
Abby Quinn.
She delivered her lines again super well, but I guess they were all supposed to embody different types of emotions too, or the different factors of the Four Horsemen, but I don't know. Yeah, it just, some things just felt a little off, and that's an M. Night movie for me all the way. So is it the worst M. Night movie I've seen? No. Is it the best one I've seen? No. But, it was good. Like, I saw, like, the Metascore for it was, C. I hate using those things because a lot of time and effort and a lot of people's hard work goes into them. But it kind of felt like that for me, like a C+, maybe B-. Like, will I watch it again if it's on? Yeah, because I'm curious. But, also, like, I don't know. I guess you're supposed to come up with your own deeper meaning, but I don't know.
Other funny things.
I agree.
The nurse was the one that kept hurting everybody, and she kept going, "I'm a nurse, I can help you." Like, after hitting,
I know.
I was like, "Bitch, you keep hitting everybody. Stop!" Like,
I know.
Like, oh, man, yeah, she just like was doing some damage, just slowly stabbing him. Like, please,
yeah.
like,
the gun situation too. Like you can tell he's like
he should have shot her. Well, I mean, again, you're like, I guess that was good because from the perspective of the character who's doesn't believe, I was like, why don't you shoot her? Like this is just a crazy person. Why let her run into the woods? Totally. If you were Eric, who was kind of a believer, and you're in that situation, I get it. You're not going to shoot her, but I'm like, why? And then the whole bathroom thing with the breaking the window, and then they're like, oh, you thought that big ass dude fit through that little window? And also, you hear the window break. I'm like, he's like, I gotta check and make sure he's still in there, or don't fucking go outside. Like you have the gun, like. The house is so big, he's gonna have to run to get you. Like, start moving. Like, there's so many things.
He doesn't recognize that guy's from WWE. Like, come on.
So funny.
I thought he was John Cena. You can't see him.
yeah.
Exactly. And then one other thing, I like Rupert, but I kept thinking, I was like, man, I wonder if Bill Burr could have done. Like, I don't know if I just like seeing comedians doing like some serious stuff now, but I feel like this could have been a nice little serious scene for Bill Burr. And like, I was like, I could totally see him.
He would have been good when he was putting on the mask. Like Bill Burr putting on the mask. Yeah.
Look away. Like, you know, so I'm like, oh man, this would
have
been awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But they got a Weasley instead, so it's fine.
Yeah. How did you guys? Okay, so then the last thing I want to talk about mine was then they turn on the song, and that song is my boogie shoes. Like, what did you guys think about that part? What was your like reaction when that song came on at the end?
I'm not too familiar with that song, so I was like, what are all the other words? Because then maybe
what? That's a big. I feel like
I mean, like I mean, like
aside from the callback though.
Yeah, aside from the callback, I've heard that song before, but if it was like I just don't know all the lyrics. So like, if I knew all the lyrics like off the top of my head, I'd be like, oh, this verse is probably related to this. Like I was assuming that song meant a lot more to itself, but other than that, I was like, oh, callback. But I don't know. Maybe I gotta watch it again. I wasn't like paying too much attention to it. It was one of those like I should know more about it, but
yeah, because like they keep flashing back between what's going on at the cabin and what went on before they got to the cabin, like them getting together, them telling their parents, them getting Wen at the orphanage, and then one was a flashback to them driving up into the cabin, and then they're playing that song and they're all singing together in the car, and then like all the dads, and then Wen. And then at the end, it was just Andrew and Wen, and then they turn on the car, right? And that song pops on. So it's I guess it was supposed to be a sign.
I don't think they had enough time to really flesh that out. You know what would have been really good to flesh that out is if they just made this a series. And then
now that's a callback.
Yeah.
Heyo.
Nice. All right. Well, hey, if you like suspenseful and dramatic movies and really great acting and Dave Bautista shine, this is a movie for you.
Heyo.
Moving on.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, we are now at Vox Machina.
Vox Machina.
Episode 7 through 9. Who wants to take it away?
Yes.
Okay, so I remember the happenings of the first episode of the 3.
The Fey Realm.
Is, they end up in the Fey Realm, but not all of them. It's Vax, Percy, and
Trinket.
No.
Vax, Percy, and Keyleth.
Keyleth, yeah.
Yeah, Keyleth.
They're in the Fey Realm. And they're trying to make their way through. And Keyleth is trying to like control the plants, but they're not listening to her. And they keep attacking Vax.
Mm-hmm.
Vax, right?
Yeah.
So they keep trying to attack him. Simultaneously, Grog, Pike, and Scanlan are elsewhere, closer to their vestige that they need to get. And Grog is battling with Craven Edge, his sword. Mm-hmm. And it's like it wants blood. And they're like, dude, you're sounding a little crazy. Like, and he's they finally convince him to break his sword. Or they finally just start giving him shit. And he's like, I know what I need to do. And he starts breaking his sword. He starts bashing against a rock, whatever. And he finally like breaks it. And Craven Edge is like, well, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. And just takes all his strength. And he ends up like Skinny Bone Jones. And just not able to like basically walk around Jones. At all for a bit, right?
It's like
he barely
he
lift his head.
Muscles.
Yeah. It was like baby mode, just like, bobbling around. So that was cool. And then jump into the second episode, and that's when they focus more on the Fey realm, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Mission of they do the backstory on Vax and Vex. They go into what is the name of their kingdom? Where that place is at?
No idea.
I forget. But
yeah.
there's like
it's a
what are they, elves?
It's like an elven kingdom that they can then teleport from Taladori. Is that the name of their world?
Yeah, Taladori,
into the Fey realm, and like in times of emergency, like they have the power to like transport that whole city into the Fey realm.
Oh, it's called Singorn.
Yeah.
Singorn,
Right,
the place the twins grew up.
Oh, also they ran into that one dude, little.
Garmley.
You gotta start writing down some names.
yeah. His name is Garmley.
This is how people watch it when they. Okay, Garbly? Is that what he is?
Garmley. Yeah.
He ends up being the Traveler, I believe, which was revealed in the third episode. But yeah, Garmley is like just basically this dude full of power that's able to do whatever he wants and finds a lot of joy with messing with them, but kind of guiding them. So they end up in that city, and Vex and Vax's father's there and family's there, and the dad is just a piece of shit, dude.
Doo-doo.
Yeah.
He's a doo-doo man.
God. I wanted them to just break his face, but yeah, but the little sister was cute, and basically they're like, oh, we're gonna go on this mission to get this bow vestige, and dad's like, yeah, right, like come back when you get that and I'll give you a party. And I'm like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, he's a dick. And she even says like fuck you, and then the little sister, like the half sister's like, what's fuck you?
yeah, exactly. Dude, yeah, fuck that guy. And then so you know it's good when you're angry at a cartoon character.
Yeah. Oh, funny fact about that guy too is he played Bill in The Last of Us. Same voice as Bill in The Last of Us.
Oh, really?
Bill.
The dad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
like him a little more. Still kind of hate him though.
Yeah. I mean, he's good. He's good at playing those dick characters, man.
Mm-hmm. And then they end up finding the bow, and it's basically being held by and I'm gonna call him Vecna. That's not his name.
He's kind of like Tree Vecna, though.
Yeah, he's like Tree Vecna.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's super cool because like the trees are carrying him around everywhere, and then he's like making his bow or his arrows out of the trees as he's throwing them. Actually, he can do all kinds of different elements, right? He makes like a wood one.
His name is Sandor.
Yeah, he makes like a fire arrow. He makes a wood one. He makes an electricity.
Lightning one too.
Yeah, he was like
that was cool.
I don't even know how they I don't know how they actually beat. I mean, I saw it, but you know, realistically, I'm like, I don't know how they were supposed to beat this guy. He was like Swamp Thing Vecna, like ridiculous. But yeah, then they end up getting that bow. All the fighting and everything is really cool.
Yes, that fight scene was really badass.
Yeah, so cool. And it was interesting that everyone else got grabbed real quick though. Like even Vax. I was like, you got super speed now, dude. Like dodge one.
Right.
Like don't get caught with Percy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get caught on the second one or some shit. Like,
right.
But
yeah, that didn't make a lot of sense to me. But he was doing the cool, like he was throwing his blades faster. But still, I was like, how we saw him go Super Saiyan, like he was at Flash level speed, and then he already got nerfed like a couple episodes later. But they needed a way to make it about her getting the blade or the arrow or the bow. I mean, whatever it's called. Yeah. And
oh, and it was cool. We got to see Keyleth go into like Avatar state
fire mode.
Yeah, that fire mode thing.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
She killed like two Ents and then down, but still really cool. So they got the
way to like compliment her and then diminish her accomplishments right after.
It was funny, like I don't know, because she did that and then she killed two people and it was I don't know. I was like, man, you gotta build that stamina on that attack. You know, like it's gonna get better, but right now it's like it's really strong, but like a sprint.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like a video game where you can build up your health bar or you can build up your power bar, and she needs to build up her power bar to stay in that mode longer. Yeah,
she like used her special and she's got to let it build all over again. So,
right.
So yeah, they get the bow and they're like, "You're gonna show your dad?" And she's like, "Fuck that guy." And I'm like, "Yeah." So they don't show the dad, and then
I was kind of like, because I wanted.
I know. I kind of wanted.
I did kind of
rub it in his face.
I know.
A little bit.
I want to be like, throw me that goddamn party, and I'm gonna break your face. Like, you know, oh my god, fucking bad dude.
Scott, come on.
I hate him. No,
I don't disagree with you. He sucked.
Yeah, but he was a dick. Also, I'm like, you have no power. You're just like a noble. Like, your
Yeah.
kids are fucking badass, and you're just their dad. Like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that didn't make sense to me either. Maybe he has some type of powers, or maybe he's the one that helps teleport the city. I don't know, but it was weird. Because even when Percy says, like, oh, call her Lady Vexillodan of the White Stone and all that stuff, I was like, oh, yeah, like, Percy's got her back. And then he's like, I will not. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, he's like, shut up, Percy.
Yeah, okay, good. That reminded me. So, fun fact is, Christine was telling me. So, in the Fey Realm, right, they have this whole thing. Percy's like, I read books on it. He's trying to lead them and stuff. So, in the campaign, Percy's character like has been wanting to go to the Fey Realm forever, right?
Okay.
Like the show. And what's fucked up is, I don't think we see it in this, but like in the campaign when they leave the Fey Realm, you have to roll to see what you remember from the Fey Realm, and his character rolls so low he doesn't remember anything. But Scanlan does this spell where he's like, so in the Fey Realm that happens where he makes Vex a noble because of the dad. Okay. But when he leaves, he forgets that, right? So Scanlan does a spell and makes him only remember that he made her a noble because Vex walked in on him having like an orgy or something with like fake creatures or something. And like was like embarrassed and was like, I'll give you anything, and then like made her a noble because of that.
And that's
so, like,
how Scanlan made him remember? Was
only
he was
that,
in an orgy or something? With
like just fucking like, so like if you couldn't remember it, I'm like, oh okay, Thomas, you were in an orgy and that's when gave her the noble. And like not even really remember, just kind of tell him that, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, like a false memory. But I just thought that was a fun thing that they didn't put in the show, but he only remembers that. But yeah, funny. So they get out of the Feywild, and then the third episode that we got was pretty much Grog, and like earning his strength without his strength, which is cool.
And coming to grips with, his fear, I guess you could say, and the reason he is like, he got cast out of, what are they called, the something wilds, I can't think of what the name of the group is right now, but he gets cast out of that group, and basically it's his uncle that's in charge of it, and he has one of the vestiges. He has those gloves. I don't know what you call those bad boys either, but they were messing fools up. They're called lightning fists.
Oh, yeah.
They're rock'em sock'em lightning fists. And he just got to beat down on Grog, like beating him near inches of death. And of course,
were they strong jaws? Is that what they were?
Strongjaw is
they're half giants.
Oh, okay.
They're called half giants.
Yeah. Their race is called half giants, and then Strongjaw is Grog's last name, and which in this episode he did not have quite a strong jaw. He got freaking rocked in his jaw. But he has to then fight his cousin and steps up to his
Kevdak.
Yeah.
His uncle's Kevdak.
Yeah, his uncle's Kevdak. Yep, and he's the one that has the vestiges, which is like the lightning gloves, let's just call them.
Yeah.
And I kind of forget how this episode ends, but I know this one also ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger. Do any of you guys remember it?
Yeah. So this one ends with him saying, I gotta go back. Like they go in and they save those people and Scanlan. From like the uncle and all that stuff, because they're going around door to door and shit. And then Grog goes back,
witnesses.
And he's like, Uncle, like, I'm about to fuck your face. And it ends
with my fist.
But I did like this cool. Like they explained like him and Pike's connection too.
Yeah.
Like he saved Pike's great grandfather or something.
Yep. But and then, I was confused, but was it Pike that revives him? Or was that in the present? Because she has, like, black hair. And...
I think that was Pike before she went full Everlight, I'm assuming.
No, I thought that was her mom. Her mom.
Is it her
mom? That's her mom.
I'm pretty sure that's her mom.
You know what threw me off, though? Because they had the same voice, right?
They do have this, and they look exactly the same except for the hair.
Sound different.
The hair is just...
Maybe it's not.
Yeah. So that's why I thought it was Pike. But I was like, wait, how come Pike doesn't remember this? And she was the one that did it. And then she was like, they said something about her before you could remember. So I'm like, wait, when she got her full Everlight powers, did she forget something? Or was this another generation like you guys were alluding to? I don't know. I'm confused on that too. But there is that connection to Grog and Pike's family.
Yep. He used to be like a super Viking, and then he was like, changed his ways. no more. Which is kind of quick, but kind of cool. Like I did like that now and stuff. But yeah, I'm interested. Talk about cliffhangers though. Like the way this ended, I was like, I want to see the freaking battle, and I gotta wait till next week.
Know.
Like, oh man,
remind me because it was super late by the time I finished this one. What happens at the very, very end?
That's what he said. Yeah, he goes.
He challenges Kevdak. Yeah,
Oh,
he's like Kevdak.
Oh yeah. Okay. Super late for me.
About to catch these hands.
I'm about to fuck your face.
Yep. Sick. Yeah, it's gonna end on such a great and high energetic note. I mean, last season did such a good job of ending of the epic battle with that super like light tree, whatever it was. But in this one, I think it's the last 3 episodes next week, right?
I think so.
Which is crazy. That went by so fast. We literally only had it for a month.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's 3 episodes. Yeah. I love the 3 episode release that Prime does. Like, it's just enough. It's enough to like be like, okay, that's plenty for next week. And then there's, but you have like the 3 episode arc kind of style is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're at the end already of Vox Machina, and then that takes us into the Mighty 9. Is that what it is?
Right. Yeah, that's the title of their group in the second campaign that they did.
Okay, got it. Critical Role second campaign, right on. Critical and is there so yeah, we'll have to look more into that, but Critical Role's killing it. They're gonna be so fucking rich from Amazon after they produce all these things. I'm sure a live action something is in the works for them as well. Like who knows?
Yeah.
Like a video game.
I thought I read something about that.
Nice.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
What's cool is like the second campaign exists in the same world as the first campaign. So that satyr guy that turns into the traveler at the end
Gramili.
turns into like a regular
Gramili.
He's in the second campaign, so I guess he's a character that can bounce between. So.
Yeah, and he's played by the main guy in their group, right? The guy who's like
Matt Mercer.
Matt Mercer, that's right. Yeah, he's played by like the Dungeon Master. So it'd be cool for him to actually have a character in the next campaign.
Oh yeah,
but
sure.
I know he gets to sprinkle himself throughout the episodes, and I don't mean in a dirty way. All right,
sprinkle it.
So last bit of news, we'll get into anime. Really looking forward to another good anime to come out. But as of right now, we saw My Hero Academia, and this one was pretty interesting because up until for the last 2 episodes, it has been about the Todoroki family and Endeavor. And Midoriya has been in a coma, but in this one, he is now in the coma and he's meeting with all of his vestiges, which is weird. Vestiges popping up. It's like one of those things you hear word now, it's everywhere. Yeah. But he sees like the vestiges of One for All. Yeah, One for All. And they kind of go over the history of it. And they basically say that throughout time, it's kind of passed on to different people who've had powers, and it was just lucky that it went to All Might, and that he then passed it to someone else who didn't have powers, because after Midoriya or Deku, it could possibly not go to anybody else ever again. Like, it might stop here. So this was a very big episode. Like, a lot of crazy shit happened. That was very impressive there. And they were crying, and there's this, messages that some of the vestiges wants to pass on to All Might, and just that legacy of what One for All is, and One for All's true purpose is to destroy All for One. And they're basically telling Midoriya, hey, can you kill what's it, Shigaraki?
You get it done this time?
Yeah. Like, if you have to, can you kill Shigaraki? And he's like, I don't come from that school of thought. Like, I was taught by All Might, we can save anybody. So there's already a natural odd, but the essence of his power is that he has to destroy that which is coming to destroy him.
Yeah.
So
and wasn't
amazing.
He can pass on his power, but it has to be like him, right? They can't have quirks, but they said in this world, though, it's like super rare for no one to have a quirk, right?
Yeah, exactly. They said in the beginning, in the first season, it was like 80%. People don't or have powers, but it seems like it's way less.
Like it's getting more and more rare. Like
yeah, exactly. So yeah, it could be pretty rare. I mean, obviously, if All Might could find him on the street, like he could probably find somebody. He could probably put out an ad for it or whatever. But like Craigslist ad.
Yeah.
But, that part of it right there, I thought that was really crazy. But then we get into the Endeavor side of things. And Endeavor, Hawks, and Best Genius, hilarious thing, we finally see Best Genius outside of his outfit. and he's got like this like super long neck that's like the size of his like neck pant situation. It's like super long. He's like a giraffe neck. It looks hilarious. But they do this press conference basically saying like, we apologize, like it's our fault that this all happened. We're sorry that we lied to you. And then Hawks admits that he killed one of the villains and that he had no other choice. And that this lady from the audience basically starts blaming him, like it's your fault. So all this happened. Like Gigo Machia like came through and like stepped on my grandma basically, and it's your fault. Like if you guys didn't do something or like start this whole war, like none of this would have happened basically. So they're taking a verbal ass kicking on top of the ass kicking that they got physically. Midoriya is trying to come back from, his space world with the vestiges. And then it ends with, let's see, Deku writes a letter to his Class A classmates, basically saying, I have to leave. I put you guys in danger. I'm done. I'm leaving UA. And so they all get this letter, and like so cold-blooded, Uraraka basically goes like, what a dumbass. And then that's like the last thing she says. And then we kind of get the new Midoriya. I guess like he has like a new costume in the beginning of the intro scene. That looks super badass. It's like more tattered, where he actually like the mask or like his hood that forms into a mask, he finally puts it up. And it looks like this badass, almost like hawk looking bunny situation. So we're now getting, he's like, all right, this is the final chapter for me moving into being the number one hero in the world, or like the best hero in the world. So I don't know what that means for the rest of the season. I don't know how many more episodes we have or how many more seasons we get after this. But damn, that was a lot of shit. A lot of impactful things happened in this episode where I was like, holy shit, this is really crazy. So I don't know what's going to come about it, but it seems like from now on, things are going to be different.
Yeah. At this point, Midoriya should stop taking regular classes and like just be trained elitely by top heroes.
Yeah.
Like that's what it should be.
Yeah.
Internship.
There's just not that many heroes left anymore, right? Like even the team, there's like not going to be enough staff for UA. So like I don't know how they would even write that story, because most of the professors either got killed or like severely beaten up. Aizawa got his leg cut off and he was wearing an eye patch. So it's like, is half of his powers now gone? I don't know what they're gonna do in terms of the professor, and they declared UA like a shelter zone. So some way that's gonna come into play, and it literally is. I feel like it's like the Deathly Hallows coming up, where it's only gonna be the students left to defend the people or whatever, or the world. Like they're gonna be the only ones that are gonna be capable and trained enough to be like the last line of defense, and it's probably gonna happen at UA.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, Midoriya needs to, I don't know, maybe just only hang out with All Might and just be like, just hang out with me when new powers pop up, tell me how to do it.
But okay, so I don't know if you guys had this question, and if you did, let me know. But I was wondering, like, why didn't All Might ever use, like, Black Whip? Why didn't he use, like, Float? All these things, like, it's like, did he have access to the vestiges too? Or just Midoriya?
I was thinking he only had access to that Super Saiyan dude sitting in the middle chair.
Right.
Just like pure power. That dude looks like he just has like, or that's just the all one for all, right? So that's literally the pure one for all. And I think everyone else had one for all, but also a quirk when they got it. Mm-hmm. And that's why as it passed on, they got all the bonus quirks. But I think All Might just use like the quirk.
I just wonder like why... Yeah, why didn't they reveal themselves to All Might too? That's just like, I don't know.
Probably because he never needed it too. Because I mean, Midoriya needs it because he's not as strong or capable as All Might. Granted, when All Might did get it, he was not All Might, but then he did kind of grow into it, and maybe he, like Scott said, only needed to use Super Saiyan situation because.
Or you figured out how to use that to the max, like at best.
Maybe he was like broken in that way too, like
Oh yeah.
Maybe like remember how like in like if I can compare it to like maybe like Naruto or something, like Rock Lee could only use his chakra thing, and he couldn't do anything else because he was like it's like a pure normal type. Now I'm compared to Pokemon, but
I'm gonna compare this thing to
jumping
another
around.
thing to another thing to another anime.
Yeah.
So
But
we're like
maybe,
7 animes down in the babushka here.
Yeah, so it's exactly like that. These other 7 animals. No, but maybe he for whatever reason his body like only takes to that one thing, and
Yeah.
he's just kind of like dumb to everything else. And they're like, well, at least you got this, the Superman one. So
That's true. Yeah. I'll buy that. It's just, it was interesting. I don't know. That question just kept coming up as this last season and then the season before, he like kept having new powers pop up. I'm like, what the fuck? But
that's probably
that
a
makes
writing
sense.
thing too. Actually, like, oh, this show's taking or this manga's taking off. I better write more lore. And then they start adding stuff. But...
Yeah. Interesting decision. I'm gonna miss the days again. Like I said, I was such a fan of the classes and the students. Maybe I can get more of that in the manga, but yeah. Anyways, it's really crazy. I can't wait to see what is happening for the rest of the season, whatever that is. So
same.
Yeah, dude. I don't know any other animes that you guys know are coming up.
No, actually, there's just like a couple other ones that people are watching, like Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen. But
Blue Lock is still going on if you're interested in soccer anime.
Oh, okay.
Also, One Piece there's a video game coming out for One Piece on PS5.
Oh, I think it's out.
It's
I
out
haven't
already.
gotten a chance to check it out yet. I downloaded the demo. I meant to check it out, so hopefully I can do that sometime this week.
Yeah, let us know about it, man. Let's check it out. That sounds fun. And if you're very lucky, you have Harry Potter to get to tonight. Tonight on Hogwarts Legacy. So, all right, everybody. I think that's it for tonight. Yeah, Drake Scott, any final last words? All right, well, have a good
jump
night.
on that. Go find out what your house is for Hogwarts. So when you play, you can like get all the information and jam it into your game.
Yeah, and then you can make it a series.
Yes.
Classic. Good callback. All right, well, that's perfect. Yeah, go check out Hogwarts Legacy and stay tuned for our episodes. All right, everybody, aloha, and thanks for checking with us.
The Joy Schtick Show.
If you've enjoyed what you've been listening to, we'd really appreciate a follow, subscribe, and a review. Just how we like chatting with our friends, please share this with yours. Feel free to join the squad and follow us at JoySchtickshow, Joy Schtick Show on Twitter and Instagram, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you feel like submitting topics or questions to be discussed on future episodes, you can email us at joystick.show@gmail.com. As always, thank you, peace out, and make it a great rest of your week.